Hello everyone, my name is Brian Sayre. I'm a senior comm student here at Kent Stark. With me is Erin Hollenball, Dr. Erin Hollenball, professor here, and she made me say that.
Oh yeah.
No. Professor here at the Kent Stark campus. Today we're going to interview her and try to kind of let you guys get to know her better, prospective students, and maybe even learn a little bit about the communication degree itself, and communication in general. So without further ado, Erin, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start by saying that, of course, I have a cold right now. So for those of you watching at home, I don't normally sound like this. But let's see, introduction. I specialize in interpersonal communication. In particular, my research area looks at self-disclosure in online communication formats. So I started off by studying blogging and self-disclosure, and I'm also interested now more in Facebook and other social media, and the kinds of predictors of what might lead someone to go online and just sort of like, put it all out there. And yet you have that same medium where other people are so tight-lipped.
Right.
They don't want to say anything. So that's kind of my professionally type introduction. I earned my master's degree and my PhD in interpersonal communication from Kent State University. So in 2008, when I completed my PhD, that's when I came here as a full-time professor. So I haven't looked back since.
Yeah.
Except for when I'm at faculty meetings up at Kent, I suppose.
Right.
I look back now and then.
Just kind of give the students kind of an idea. I know you pretty well, but how would you describe your teaching style?
I really enjoy running. It feels weird to say running my class because my style is as much as a co-learner. I consider my classrooms like a learning community where everyone is an active participant in that community, and that I try to stress that. Largely, when you come to one of my classes, you'll probably find some sort of like modified lecture-y type of experience where we do a little bit of transmission of knowledge, but mostly it's then taking those pieces of information and chewing them up and kind of seeing how they fit in our lives. I really enjoy assignments that cause students to think about their everyday experiences, including their media consumption.
Right.
So, for example, in my gender and communication class, as you recall, one of the discussion leader assignments was to find a piece of media where gender dynamics are at play or something's illustrated in that. So it could be a television show or a music video or something, and then to kind of lead the class in a discussion to get us moving forward on that. So, and I think that type of experience where the student is responsible for a part of that, I think that helps to solidify that co-learner experience.
Yeah, and that, I was part of that class, and very, very, it's a good way to learn, to kind of get the students involved, ask a question, and then, the students kind of take over and they start really thinking about it at that point, so it's really good.
And I made him say that.
Do you think your teaching style has evolved over time since you began?
Absolutely, especially if you count all the way back to when I was a graduate student.
Right.
I kind of had a traditional career and academic path. I finished at Malone University. That's what I came out to Northeast Ohio for, was to go to school at Malone.
Yeah.
And I finished up and I graduated in May, and in August I was in front of 3 classrooms of Intro to Human Communication students.
Right.
I was 22 years old, just finished my degree, and I thought, how in the world am I supposed to convince these people I'm an expert?
Right.
So I put my suit jacket on,
Right.
bought like some cheap suit or whatever and tried to come in but I wanted to do sort of this like hippy dippy kind of like, yo, we're all cool together. I refused to use PowerPoint.
Right.
I would only write on the whiteboard, and I really just wanted students to, I don't know, to just love it as much as I loved it. And I think I quickly learned that not everybody inherently loves school as much as a nerd like me, and not everyone inherently grasps on to communication concepts and wants to talk about them at the dinner table. So I think over the years I've found ways to meet students more in their particular station in life, and I think especially for the regional campus here, where it's open enrollment, we have a lot of non-traditional students, we have a lot of students who I think are really looking for what's the use, what's the practicality of this right now.
Right.
And so I think I've been doing more to kind of engage and try to draw people in and
Right.
show that usefulness, right up front.
I think that's important. Like, I've always been the type, why does this matter
Mhm.
to me now or in the future? And it's good that it seems like there's a pattern, like all the comm professors seem to have
Yeah,
a good eye on that.
yeah, it's a
idea.
great group here.
So,
I really enjoyed my time.
so communication in general, in the next 10 years, where do you see it going? I've asked everyone else, so ask you.
Well, I'm really excited that, I feel old, but I still have a good 30 to 40 years left in me of teaching. I'm
Right.
still at like the beginning part of my career. And so I'm really stoked to be a part of seeing where this is all headed, just
Yeah.
like being on for the ride. And I think that communication scholars and communication students, like we're in the front seat, like we get to see where this is all going. I think in the next 10 years in particular, and I'm seeing this already start to happen, we're getting more and more students who were born with iPhones in their hands,
Right.
and I know everybody wants to talk about technology, but I think that what we're gonna see is as this kind of communication revolution continues to accelerate, everyone's going to come out of their childhood feeling like an expert.
Right.
They probably, I feel like I read this somewhere, that people write more now than ever,
Right.
would.
I'm not
I'm a
sure.
writing guy, but
Yeah, right.
I heard that people write more now than ever before because we're
Right.
writing all the time. And it
Right.
may not be the style of writing that old fogies like myself are used to, but it's still writing. And so I think that I'm starting to see, and I will see more in 10 years, students coming into academia sort of feeling like I've been doing this my whole life, but with no manual.
Right.
Sort of like I've been running this. My metaphors are mixing. I've been driving this
Yeah.
boat or whatever, and I haven't read the manual. And so I think in the next 10 years, communication is going to be uniquely placed to be providing that sort of theoretical foundation.
You're probably already
Yeah.
seeing things in the classroom, I would suspect, like LOL in an essay. Or
Oh
something,
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely,
You're like LOL.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
an SMH moment. For sure.
Right. Yeah. So quickly, why do you think someone should acquire a communication degree, and especially why they should get it here at Kent Star?
Oh, great question. Thank you for the commercial space in this interview. So communication, and I mentioned that I started here. I don't want to belabor the past, but I started here in '08. If anybody recalls, 2008 was sort of like the beginning of the end, right? Like the recession, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? And when I was in college, people were like, communication, what in the world? Like, what are you gonna do with that? That doesn't make any sense. And since I've been here, I've really seen a turn in the industries, recognizing communication as
Right.
a key focus, a key skill that's required
Right.
in order to be successful. And I've heard time and again, our alumni coming back and telling me, internship supervisors and professionals telling me over and over that they can train you on the hard skills.
Right.
Right. We need people, especially as technology becomes more pervasive, we need people who know how to convey their ideas in
Right.
written and oral communication. We need people who are perceptive,
Yeah.
who know how to listen and give perception checking, and people who are purposeful in their behaviors, in their
Right.
messages. And so I think a communication degree is essential right now because we're in this revolution, right, this communication boom, that you need to have trained professionals who have that foundation, that underpinning. And why Kent Star? I would say in Stark County, and again, my alma mater is another university in Stark County, but I think in Stark County being the only state 4-year institution for our local residents is really important because what that means is that the faculty here in communication and all of the other programs are active researchers. They're continually reformatting their teaching. You get sort of the best of a 4-year public university, but you get it in more of a private kind of setting.
Which I enjoy too. I enjoy that. Yeah.
And we've got lots of green spaces and the tuition's affordable and all that jazz, but our students have told us, at least our senior students who are about to graduate, have often told me that what they got from this program at this location was more of a sense of community, not only between the professors and themselves, but among the students within the classes too.
And I would agree with that. I think that's a major benefit to the regional campus, especially this one stands out. That's why I went here.
I'm glad you find that the case because it is nice to hear confirmation
Right.
that what we hear is true.
All right, so getting away from communication, or maybe not. Give us a fun fact or two about yourself, or something people may not know about you. Something.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I'll say when my husband and I got married, just before we got married, we bought a foreclosed house that had been empty for a couple of years. That was just a huge dump. I mean, it was an awful house. And my father-in-law used to joke with me, because I had my PhD at the time. He used to joke with me that I needed to build my Vita, my resume, with some actual marketable skills. He said, a PhD, you gotta get some drywalling skills. Like, you gotta get some plumbing skills. And he's an engineer, by the way, so he's not exactly, Mr. Handyman all the time either. But he is, in fact, a handyman kind of guy. And so, I know how to hang drywall. I know I did a room all by myself. I can't lead and tape as well, because that's kind of an art that I'm not a master of. But the physical stuff, I think, because my
So you
job,
can hang drywall. That's your fun fact, huh?
That's fun. What else? I don't know. I helped with putting flooring down and just renovating a house is really fun. A couple years after that, we built an addition, and
nice.
I was up on the roof the summer that I got pregnant with my son, with my first, just before I got pregnant, not after. I was up on the roof doing roofing and all that jazz. So now I finally have a resume with some marketable skills. So.
Cool. Well, hopefully you got to know Professor Hollenbaugh, Dr. Hollenbaugh, a little bit better. And I know she looks forward to seeing you, as all the professors will.
Absolutely.
So don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Comet Stark, or follow us on Twitter at Comet KSU Stark. And that's all.
Right.
See you.
Bye.